Good morning. Our hand today is Ace King. We are playing at a 10 NL game. It's a full ring game. In this hand, we do have a poster, a late position poster. It is his first hand at the table, so we don't really know a whole lot about this player. So, what's the action? It folds to me. I open raise. I think this is pretty standard open raising range in mid position. We've got some solid hands. We have some speculative hands balancing that. And I raised the 4 big blinds. Could have probably done 5. But this player is short stacked, so he bought in for under 50 big blinds. So I went a little bit smaller. Just at 4 big blinds. He calls. Now, this calling range is going to pose a problem because I don't know anything about this player. I've got no stats on him, and I believe that this is the first time I've ever played against him. So even in my database, I don't have this player. So the question is, what is he going to do this with? I started with just kind of a range that's pretty wide, 36%. I think he already has 1 big blind in the pot. It's only 3 more to call. He's going to have positions, so I think he's going to be doing this with a pretty wide range. We could always narrow it down to a much tighter range and see how he plays, but I'm going to start pretty wide range. Blinds full. Flop comes out 4-4-2 with 2 diamonds, and it's on me. Do I see bet? Do I check? And I think at this point, I am ahead of a huge chunk of his range. I think if I bet, it's a possibility that he just folds. A lot of hands that miss. I don't have the diamond. Ace of diamonds or king of diamonds, so I just feel like with this hand it's probably better just to do a check call, see what comes on the turn, and then check the turn again. If he leads out again and we don't improve our hand, we probably just need to give it up. And that's kind of my thought process. So I checked and he bet half pot, and I had already decided I was going to be check calling here, so I did. My turn was the ace, and that was pretty good. And I followed through with my check. I think at this point, if I bet, I give him a reason to fold a lot of these hands that still miss. But at the same time, I do think like ace king, ace queen, ace jack is still going to call. Note I didn't have any of his raising range here, so I included like the aces, kings, queens. Should probably drop those out and say he's typically most players are gonna 3-bet those, so that's probably what we should be doing here, taking those hands out. So I don't think he has like aces, I don't think he has kings, but at this point, I think those are hands that might throw out another bet. See, basically decide, did the ace hit me or not? I checked, he bet half pot. Okay, I'm going to call that again. Could I have raised? I don't think so. I think this is a situation where I'm curious. Should I have raised here with top pair, top kicker, or should I just have called again? I think, again, by raising, I give him a reason to fold. I don't give him a chance of betting out his worst hands. And then the jack of clubs hit, and this is kind of the play. I looked at what he has. He has 28.2. I went with half pot because I felt like if I pushed him all in, I think he's gonna fold more than if I just bet half pot. If he has a hand that he likes, by betting half pot, he's gonna raise it, and I'm just gonna call. He raises it. I called, and we see the showdown. So without looking at what his hand is, let's see what GTO has to say. All right. So it looks like we should be betting 100% of the time here, c-betting. So I guess that's going to be the number one mistake. We'll see if that changes. If I check here, then it's going to be, I really don't have anything. When we look at 99.9%, what is my check? Very small possibility of checking. All right. So if I check, villain's going to have to bet. And what we're going to have to do is fix this. So I check here. Villain bets. What kind of hands is villain going to bet? I do think he's going to be betting the fours. We'll say 100% he's betting these fours. 100% he's betting trip twos. I think quad fours probably just checks instead of bets. I think over pair bets. We've got three of a kind, full house, quads. We've got us a check. What about pocket pair below the top card? Threes. I think if we check, he's probably betting those. Middle pair. The twos. Yeah. Ace high hands, I think, are going to be part of the flush draws. So let's say he bets all of his flush draws here. And the open enders. So let's do that. Let's rerun this solver with that type of comparison with sometimes these are checking, sometimes these are raising. So let's run our solver, check it out, and we'll come back when it's done. All right, we're back. Now we've changed it so our check can be 12%. We're still should be c-betting most of the time here. And then he's going to bet. So based on our check, if he bets, we are calling a very small percent. So it looks like we are check raising. And I guess that's all GTO play. So let's kind of fix this again, because I think if I check raise, he's probably just going to fold all of his unpaired hands. Hold on, let's see here. Unpaired, no made hands. Middle pair with the twos. I think he just folds. Threes probably just fold. Over pair definitely. Oh, hold on. Let's undo that. So he bets. We're supposed to call. This is what we want. So if we raise, what do we think? This is what we're looking for. Okay, so we're gonna do this. No made hand just folds a huge chunk of the time. Ace high, I think, just folds, and we'll fix the flush draws. The twos just fold. Pocket pair below the top card just folds. Over pair, I think, calls. Does he just call or does he raise all in? Probably raises all in. Just gets it in. I think three of a kind gets it in. I don't think they're playing for a call. All right, so then flush draw. We're gonna say these flush draws, the nut flush draws, just get it all in. Does all of the flush draws get it all in? Maybe the broadways? We'll do the aces and kings, and then those broadways. All right, let's run the solver. We'll come back when it's done. All right, so we've changed things up a little bit. So now, you know, we're still betting predominantly ace of clubs, king of spades. We can check 50% of the time. I think this is probably a little bit more realistic, because if we check and he bets, then we are looking at calling 4%. So we're going to be doing a lot of folding. Even our ace kings, looks like we're supposed to be calling ace of hearts, king of diamonds, ace of clubs, king of diamonds. So like the diamonds is that what we can call. Not even the ace of diamonds. Probably because we were supposed to be raising those. So we check, he bet, and then, you know, we just call. So I think we're going to have to kind of fix things up. So it looks like right now GTO play is what's the bet? And I didn't make that play at all. So let's go back to GTO and see how I should have played it. Actually, we're gonna pause this. Actually, stop it. So let's fix it how I was expecting to play it. So I think with the aces, we're gonna be check calling. I think with ace 9, ace 8, ace 7, those are probably going to be betting, hoping to get some folds. I think I'm betting, you know, these broadways. I think aces and kings could check here. Same thing with the queens. I think we're more likely to bet the weaker the pocket pair is. So I think let's run the solver with this first, with my bet and my checking range, and we'll come back when we're done. All right, so we're back. I've got my checking range here. I think that's what I'd play. So villain bets now, and now we're back to the call. So I think GTO play says I should have c-bet this flop, and rightfully so. I mean, it's unlikely that this board's going to hit anyone, but at the same time, I give my opponent a chance to bet me out of hand. I turn my hand into a bluff catcher, which isn't very good. So I bet. And then, yeah, it looks like I'm supposed to be calling. I could fold ace-king, but I think that's probably going to be a little too tight. So ace of hearts comes out. Now it looks like we continue checking with our range. I think we check with these hands because we're either still ahead or we're now way behind. So we check and villain bets again. What's villain betting? You know, if he plays GTO, he should be betting fairly wide. Decent range. He's betting, you know, flush draws. He's betting pairs. He's betting his trips, full houses, and so forth. Top pair, you know, with the ace, somewhat bet, somewhat check. Probably less likely to bet top pair, but he bets. Oops. And now it's on to me. Looks like I'm still calling with my top pair hands. I think that's right. And he has me folding those, probably because he has a lot of the diamond flush draws and nut flush draws in his range, and that ace just connected to him, and we expect him to continue betting. So I think this looks kind of weak that you're folding, you know, kings, queens, jacks, and tens, but I'm sure that's probably the right play. Jack of clubs comes out, and now I should have been checking the 100% of the time, and villain's going to be betting a wide range when he bets. Now it's just kind of some of the time we call, some of the time we fold. Again, kind of go into a bluff catch mode. So I think overall in this hand, big problem that I have here is the check when I should be betting. Does it affect how he plays? Well, if he plays GTO, I think that this is how he plays. So let's edit some of these and say, what do I think he's going to do if we check? A loose player like this, I'm going to still say quads is probably checking. Full house is probably going to be, full house should be, we'll leave. Full house should be betting those. I think he checks full houses. I think he checks full houses and quads. Three of a kind, though, I think he bets. He's hoping to get it all in. He's hoping to bet, get check raised. I think the overpair is going to be betting here. Pocket pair below the top card, I think threes are going to bet. Middle pair, all of the twos are going to bet. I think flush draws are going to be betting here. Open-ender straights, probably open-enders are going to bet. Gut shots, I think it depends on what we have for the flush draws. So I think we're setting these things up. And then I think he's probably also betting like these aces. And probably all of the offsuit aces as well. So let's run this now and see how things change, because we're going to recognize that villain probably isn't playing GTO when it's done running. All right, it's done. We still have our checking range. And he's going to bet. And now, if we think he's going to be betting a pretty wide range now, it has us raising to 14. Again, being aggressive. So if I raise, then let's get this. What do I think he's gonna shove with? 3 of a kinds, definitely. I think overpair is gonna raise, definitely. Pocket pair below the top card, 3s. I think 3s fold. I think middle pair folds. I think the ace highs fold. All of these non-made hands fold. Flush draws, just gonna shove. We'll do all of the ace and the king high flush draws are all gonna shove. I think the rest are probably just gonna be calling. 5-3 is gonna shove because that's the open ender. All right, let's do that. And then I think we've managed the folds as well. So let's run our solver now and see what it looks like. All right, so we've got it set. So again, we're checking here. He bets. We're supposed to be raising. And then when he shoves, when he raises, then we're folding our ace kings. When he calls and the ace of hearts comes out, then it looks like we are betting here. We are betting strong with our aces. So if we just shove all in, and I think that's probably the correct play, he should be folding all of that missed, because he would have been on that diamond. I do think he's probably calling those, so I'm not sure if it changed. So I don't think it's going to really change a lot of our plan here. We can set a call to everything and run it just to see. So we'll come back when it's done. All right, so still looks like we're betting. He's gonna call, and we're ahead. He needs to draw at that point. So he's got a call with 100%, and then it doesn't really matter what the next card is. So what's the, what did he have here? Because we did see a showdown. He showed King Jack. That's not in his range at all. So if we go back to here, he bet. I mean, some of it is with the King Jack, King of Clubs, Jack of Diamonds. Some of the bet, and then I should be raising 100% here, and I didn't. I just called. So. And if we change how he bets, I don't think it's going to really change a whole lot here. So if he's doing the King Jack off, he's probably also doing all of these other ones as well, and probably all of the kings. So I think we're just going to kind of see much of the same thing. I think the problem with this hand for me is that I was too passive. I should have been aggressive. I should have been c-betting and playing it from there. If I c-bet and he raises, we could easily fold. If he calls, we just flop the ace and we continue betting. Get called by the diamonds and so forth. So just case in point, I overthought this hand. I should have just went ahead and bet with my ace king and see what happens from there. All right, hopefully you enjoy this hand. If you did, look tomorrow for another.